Assalamu alaikum, story timers. How are you guys doing today? Inshallah, everyone is having a fantastic day and ready to start learning all about a new prophet. Because today, inshallah, we are coming to you with an amazing new story all about Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam. And you may have actually heard of Prophet Yusuf. Do you know anyone whose name is Yusuf? Prophet Yusuf is a really famous prophet, and he has an amazing, incredible story. And we are going to learn all about his life from childhood up into the time that he becomes someone very, very special. So let's dive right in. Bismillah wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Let's get started. So, in our last story time, we talked all about Prophet Ibrahim and his two sons. Does anybody remember the name of his two sons? His sons' names was Ismail and Ishaq. Very good. And Ismail was the son of Hajar alayha salam, and Ishaq was the son of Sarah. And if you remember from last week, we talked about the miraculous, amazing birth of Ishaq. And he and the angels actually brought the message directly from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Ishaq was going to be born. And that's not the only amazing part about the story. They actually told Ibrahim that he was going to be born even though Ibrahim and his wife was very, very old. Ibrahim was 100 years old when Ishaq was born. But they reminded Ibrahim that Allah is able to do all things, and it is by the will of Allah, and we do not question the will of Allah. So, Ishaq was born, and later on, when he grew up, he had a son named Yaqub. And Yaqub was also a prophet and the father of Yusuf alayhi salam. So Yaqub and his family settled in a place called Canaan in present day Palestine. So his father Yaqub and Yusuf and all of his family was from Palestine. So Prophet Yaqub had many, many sons and also many daughters and a very big family. And out of all his sons, his two youngest sons, Yusuf and Binyamin, was the most special to him. And they were people who always were kids who always remembered Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Yaqub spent a great deal of time teaching them about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He loved Yusuf and Binyamin very, very much, and everybody knew it. Well, everybody didn't like it though. Some people started to feel very jealous, and they were not happy that Yaqub loved his sons Yusuf and Binyamin so much. And those people were the other sons of Prophet Yaqub. Even though they were sons of a prophet, they were not very humble people, and they were also very jealous. They wondered why their father didn't love them the same way that he loved Yusuf and Binyamin. And because of this, they started to treat Binyamin and Yusuf differently from the way they treated everybody else. And we know that this is not good behavior. We shouldn't be jealous or envious of anybody else for what Allah has given them. And we must treat all people equally. In Islam, people are only different based off of how they act. Good people are more dear and more loved to Allah than people who are not good. So we shouldn't treat people differently based off of who they are or anything like that. All people are equal in the sight of Allah, except those who do good deeds and always remember Allah. So remember, if you are feeling unhappy because someone got something better than what you got, you have to remember to seek refuge in Allah from the shaitan, because these are just evil whispers of the shaitan to make you think bad things and to treat someone differently than they should be treated. And that's not what will make Allah happy at all, right? So if you are in school and if someone, maybe the teacher has a favorite student or the teacher gave somebody something that they did not give you, or even among your sisters or your brothers, don't get upset. Instead, think about all of the nice and amazing things that Allah has blessed you with. And if you remember that and you seek refuge in Allah from the shaitan and try to ignore the shaitan, then Allah will bless you with even more good things. Alhamdulillah. But unfortunately, the sons of Yaqub was not listening to this advice from him, and they were not very patient and were very jealous of their brother Yusuf. And because of this, Prophet Yaqub was very protective and very worried about Yusuf. And then even something more changed. Prophet Yusuf had an amazing, miraculous dream. Can you believe it? He had a dream that 11 stars and the sun and the moon all prostrated to him. They all bowed down to him and he was standing up. Wow! This was such an amazing dream. When Prophet Yusuf woke up, he was so surprised. He said, I wonder what this dream means, and it made him feel so happy. He rushed to his dad and he said, Dad, can you imagine the amazing dream that I had? I had a dream that the 11 stars and the sun and moon was bowing down to me. And he told his daddy how happy that dream made him feel. Prophet Yaqub smiled at him because he knew what that dream meant. It meant that Prophet Yusuf was going to be someone very special, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was going to grant him prophethood. But Prophet Yaqub also knew that his brothers was already very jealous of him. And so he warned Yusuf. He said, Yusuf, do not tell anyone about your dream. Even though this dream was good news, your brothers may harm you if they find out about your dream. And Prophet Yusuf, who at the time was a young kid, agreed. And he did not tell anyone about his dream. But after this dream, Prophet Yaqub was even more protective of Yusuf, and he didn't want to take Yusuf out of his sight. He always wanted to watch over Yusuf and make sure that Yusuf was safe and happy. And he told him to not worry and to always stay with his dad and to worship and be mindful of Allah. But this did not make the brothers happy. This made them feel even more jealous because they did not know about the dream. All they noticed was that their father was giving more attention to that Yusuf than them. And they started to talk among each other about this. And they listened to the evil whispers of the shaitan. They said, how dare our father love Yusuf more than us? Don't you see how much they're trying to protect Yusuf? Well, what about us? That's not fair. We should do something bad to Yusuf. We're going to teach that Yusuf a lesson. Whoa, this was very, very serious. And this was not at all good behavior. You don't do that to people, especially your family. You cannot listen to the evil whispers of the shaitan, because the evil whispers of the shaitan will make you hate other people and make you feel jealous. And that is not the character of a Muslim. A Muslim should be kind and gentle and nice and loving to others. And they should not ever feel jealous about something that another person have. Now, before we close out our lesson today, do you remember a story that we talked about earlier of someone else who felt jealous? Who do you think that was? What prophet were we talking about at that time? Oh, you may remember. It was related to Prophet Adam, alayhi salam. Now, there were two times. First, the shaitan was jealous of Prophet Adam, and he disobeyed Allah because he felt that he was better than Prophet Adam. And for that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala kicked him out of paradise. And the second time was with Prophet Adam's sons. Once again, the son Qabil was jealous of his brother Habil, and for that he committed the first crime in the history of mankind, and he killed his brother. And so you can see how very serious jealousy is. It can make you do things that you should never ever do because you will be listening to the whispers of the shaitan. So the brothers of Yusuf alayhi salam here started to plot, just like the brother of Habil. They started to plot and plan, and they wanted to do something bad to Prophet Yusuf. They wanted to get more attention from their father, and they wanted to get less attention to Yusuf and to teach Yusuf a lesson he would never forget. And the thing that they was about to do would change Yusuf's life forever. We will learn more about what they do, inshallah, in the next class. I hope that you guys enjoyed this story time because this is going to be a really fascinating story. Can you wait until next week to find out what happens to Prophet Yusuf? He was just a little boy. What do you think is about to happen to Prophet Yusuf? I want you guys to sit tight and join me, inshallah, in our story time next week so we can find out what happens to little Yusuf, inshallah. And remember, never feel jealous about someone else. If you are feeling jealousy, close your ears to the whispers of the shaitan and thank Allah for all of the beautiful blessings that He has given you. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next week, inshallah, for our next story time. Jazakallahu khairan. Wassalamu alaikum